This is Joanna here, live for the tech scene in beautiful San Francisco for Launch 2013 with David Cohen of Techstars, founder and CEO. Okay, David, first of all, what do you think is the most important thing for entrepreneurs who you've seen become successful? Like, what's the key trait?
Well, I mean, at the early stage, we talk a lot about just team, right? Just having a great team that's like, really passionate about what they're doing, really dedicated to it, that has a source of passion that's going to sustain them. We want to know that they're super talented, right? And that what they're doing matters to them, and they're sort of obsessed with building an amazing product. That's what we look for.
Okay, cool. Have you ever picked any solo founders?
We have. We've done it once or twice. There's a company called 140 in Boston that we funded, Laura Fitton. She was by herself, and the company ended up doing well and selling to HubSpot. So it's pretty rare for us, not because we don't believe in single founder companies, but because in the context of Techstars, it's pretty intense for one person.
Where do you see tech going in the next couple years?
It's all about the launch conference, I think. I mean, basically, if you're here, you're in the right place.
You're somebody. Launch.
It's too broad of a question. I think there's some areas that I'm interested in, specifically human-computer interaction. I think the way that we interact with computers is really changing. You probably have an iPad, right? It's a whole different way to interact. I'm an investor in a company called Oblong that you interact with systems with your hands, like in Minority Report, the movie. This kind of thing is going to be needed because there's so much data. We're creating more data every year than the history of humanity. We need new ways to interact with it. So we look at things like that. We look at quantified self. We're doing a program with Nike around this that's like funding companies that measure the human body. Super sophisticated instrument that none of us measure. Right, so it's a huge question, where is tech going, but those are some areas that we're thinking about.
So what do you feel about the convergence that's apparent to everybody now between Hollywood and tech?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to watch, right? The people can take a shooter camera like this one, right, and they can sort of disrupt a giant industry.
This is a great camera.
It is. Can I say the brand? No.
Secret.
Yeah, it's the ability to take a relatively inexpensive device and make a great series, a great movie, right? We've seen that really disrupt kind of the industry. You're seeing amazing advances in streaming. In fact, we actually just hired a managing director in New York that runs a New York program that comes from the film industry. Like, we really think there's a lot to do in that space, and just amazing innovation going on right now.
Awesome. And so how can people apply to Techstars, and what advice do you give?
They can visit the website, techstars.com. We take about 1% of applicants, so we're super selective. It's harder to get into than any Ivy League school by the numbers. But my advice would be build an awesome team and make some real progress early on with your product that you can show.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
David Cohen, Techstars.